her for that, by the way, so let's at least give her a hand. But what they were doing, they tried to do it this year. One year, they would let all the senators vote for it, and they would pass it out of the Senate. And it would go to the House, and the excuse would be, well, we didn't have time, couldn't get it out. Oh, we tried our best, we couldn't get there. It was too far down the calendar. Well, they put it 57th. Did they think we were really going to get there in one day? But back home, they all get to say they voted for it. Well, the next year, they'd start it in the House, and they'd pass it, and they'd send it up to the Senate. And the Senate would say, well, we just couldn't get to it. Man, so many things to do, the budgets, all this stuff. So all the House members would go home and tell all their people, I'm pro-life. They'd give speeches about it, knowing that the leadership had gotten together and said, we're never going to pass that because we have members that are absolutely against it. We have leadership that's absolutely against it. So they get to go home and say things and never make them happen. And that is due to the fact that they elect a certain group of people to be leader. And if you want to understand it, think about the House members that go to Washington and vote for Nancy Pelosi. Right? Some of them run in Alabama, a guy in South Alabama. You know, he's going to go do that. I hope to goodness the voters down there don't send him back. But that's what goes on. It's those kind of tricks all the time. And orchestrated. That's what we deal with. If you don't believe it, many of you came down for my bill as SB 233, 223? Yep. 233.
SB 233.
233. It was the Obamacare opt-out bill. Almost word for word what Missouri was able to vote on a few weeks back, a couple months back. That took, what, 3 or 4 different legislative days to come up for a vote. I filibustered for 3 or 4 days. AEA called me all kinds of bad names, told me I was for, what was it? For letting pedophiles be paid while they're in prison or something, because we're trying to get the health care bill up. And then, because of pressure from groups like y'all's, the Democrats in the Senate finally passed it, knowing what? Knowing the House was going to kill it off. It's exactly what they did. And you go out and read, because he was retiring, you go out and read their campaign literature right now. They're for fighting back against the federal government. Are Alabamians going to believe that again? No. I hope to goodness not. And here's the thing. I think Jabbo would agree with me, and I've said it in a lot of places. If y'all put us in charge and give us that chance, first time in 136 years, and we don't do what we say we're going to do, it's a simple thing. Fire us. You don't think it'll happen? It's in Republican primaries where people get fired all the time. I'm only here because my district fired 2 people. I ran against 2 incumbents. They fired both of them. It makes me very nervous. But I think it helps me be a better legislator too, because that threat is always there. The other thing y'all were asking is, how are things going to be different if we're in charge? I think what you will see is a much more transparent state government, or state senate, a much more organized state senate, a state senate that allows you, for the first time ever, to actually know what is going on in that legislative body. For those of you who don't keep up, let me explain to you how it works right now. And we have filibustered and raised Cain and fought them, and Lowell Barron, who is the Rules Chairman, who really runs the Senate. I think they just switch the titles around because they have to pass them out. But he runs the Senate. He brings a rules calendar in. Some states call it a, I forgot, special events calendar or something like that, but we call it a rules calendar. It's the list of what we're going to vote on that day. And the fact of the matter is, the senators don't know what we're going to do. I don't know. If we're going out on Tuesday, we don't know what we're going to do until Tuesday. Sometimes they tell us about 10 o'clock in the morning and brag on themselves about how great they are. And sometimes they tell us right when session starts. So that means your elected official in the state senate doesn't know what he's going to get to vote on. Now, let me tell you the great, wonderful thing about Montgomery. When you're walking to the chamber, lobbyists who are running around like sharks all the time are pulling on your sleeve saying, hey, can you vote for my bill? It's 3rd on the calendar. They know before we know what's going to be voted on. Now, how does that affect you? And I'll tell the rest of what happens. It affects you because, say there's a bill that affects your business, affects you directly in your life, affects your children at school, affects a program in the state that you care about, state parks, whatever it is. You don't get to give me any input because you didn't know it was coming either. Not only did I not know, you didn't know. And we have basically begged, we got down to begging And Old Barron has told me straight out, we're not going to change it as long as you're rules chairman. So I'm thinking the same thing you are. That's fine. Let's change you out as rules chairman. That'll be easy. And that's what we're actually fighting for. And it gets so bad. There's 35 state senators. When he brings his copies in, he doesn't even bring 35 of them. We have to run around and share. And they're already started on the first one. And what we have done over this last 4 years, most of the time, if it's not bills that we know generally what it's about, and you got to remember there's 600 or 700, 800, maybe 1,000 bills presented in a session. If you're not on that committee, you've never seen it. But we've had to filibuster bills in the Senate. So I'll be up there talking for an hour while Jabbo and the guys go through the pieces of legislation. That is not the way it's supposed to work. But that's the way it's worked for a long, long time. And as we've increased our numbers, we've been able to push back. But for a long time, Jabbo and them, they didn't have enough people even to slow it down. And it's very, very important that we try to get back to what the civics books, as close as we can do it, the way it says to run business. Now, some of you are cynical, and you're saying they'll never do it. They'll be just as bad as the other guys. I don't believe that. I believe we have a brand new group of guys. You got to realize most people when they're first elected are very idealistic. We have the chance to take the majority with a huge number of brand new idealistic people who want to see it done right. Are y'all going to agree? Are we all going to agree? I don't agree with myself half the time. We're not going to agree all the time. But I almost guarantee you from what y'all said y'all stand for, you're going to agree with us 95% of the time. We may mess up some details, and there has to be some compromise. But we're giving the people of the state of Alabama the chance to actually change things, to ban things like pack-to-pack transfers, to actually do something about ethics, to actually have, there's things I can't start running off the mouth about. I have to control myself at times. When I start getting on ethics, it starts, start running off. But you can rest assured that you will see a different state senate if Republicans have the opportunity to get in charge. If I have anything to do with it, and Jabbo has anything to do with it, I think you'll see a huge change in the way things work. Is that mostly what you want us to talk about? Have I talked too long about nothing?
We'll put it up to questions.
Okay, questions.
If you all have questions, Marcelo Munoz is going to be up there against the back wall with the walk-around mic. Please line up, and we'll get your questions. So that everybody in the room can hear them.
Steve, let me make
line up. I guess it's a little awkward trying to get back to that. Yeah, there you go. Line them up and
My question is, it seems like, as in the federal government, when the Republicans took over, they went ahead and were...
You guys, this microphone, you really gotta get closer. If you wanna hold it, like this,
and talk like this, you can be heard.
just put your hand over it and you don't touch your lips to your own hand, and you'll be loud enough. All right. Well, I want to go with the microphone.
Well, what I was going to say is when the Republicans lost control or took over in, 94, they said, well, let's be nice to the liberals. Let's play nice with them. Let's give them this, let's give them that. I don't want you to go down there and be mean, but I also don't want them to give them any kind of special incentives or anything like that. Do you understand what I'm talking about, what happened? And I just think y'all need to be down there, and I'm just going to tell you this from my point of view, you got one chance. You got one chance. If you screw it up, you'll be gone. I'm just saying that. And you know me, Scott.
We've waited for this day for so many years.
Don't screw it up.
We will not screw it up. You'll be proud.
Right.
Steve, let me make one comment about what happened yesterday with indictments, and then we'll get back on it. I meant to say it a while ago. The vast majority of the men and women that serve in the Alabama legislature, the Alabama House, and the Alabama Senate are good, honest, honorable, hardworking people who are there for all the right reasons. I've served with hundreds and probably thousands, and I've been there 37 years, but I can say in front of God and everybody that I have never been offered a dishonest dollar or an illegal dollar for a vote. I guess they know who they can approach and who they can't approach. And they know if they approach me or somebody like Scott or Mary Sue, they're going to be turned in. But when something like this happens where you have a handful of people that are indicted, it's a reflection on all of us, and we're continually by the media painted with the same brush. They say that legislature, you would think we were all indicted. Well, it was 4 out of 140, okay? There may be more, but it will not be me, nor Scott, or Mary Sue, or a majority, a vast majority of the members of the House and Senate. And I just wanted to leave y'all with that thought that everybody down there is not like the 4 that were indicted yesterday.
What do you have to say about what I said, Scott?
No, I think what you're going to see is, I know it on my case, and I'm sure Jabo agrees with me, there are certain principles that we believe in. And I don't go to meetings like this and talk about smaller government, efficient government, 10th Amendment. You can tell by the bills I have sponsored over the years and the stances I've taken on those pieces of legislation and the help I've had from others, that we intend to do the things that we promised. And I have no intention or desire to allow the media or the liberal crowd who wants to say play nice when we're in charge. I have no desire to play nice to the point where we do not move our agenda forward that would be better for the state of Alabama. We have a lot of scars from those guys, and I don't think there'll be much love lost. Just don't make me say much more than that.
Next person.
Hi guys, on a different note, in the past month I've been to 2 meetings about the curriculum core state standards. Are you 2 aware of that program at all? It's my understanding that the governor and Dr. Morton signed an agreement to abide by the laws of Washington State if we decide to go down this road. How can the state of Alabama abide by the laws of Washington State?